Good morning, Masechet Pesahim, Nun, Amoud Bet, bottom of the page, third big lines. Tanu Rabbanan, Hamistaker bikanim ubikankanim eno re'eh siman bracha leolam. If your job is selling wood, bamboos, what does it say there, Chaim? Does you have what it says over there? Kanim and kankanim. You're selling bamboo sticks. You say something there? You do not see bracha. Where are we? We are in Daf Nun, Amoud Bet, on the third big line in the middle of the line.
You guys went last night.
Maklot dakim, little poles, pieces of wood. Anyways, siman bracha. You're selling wood, you're selling bamboo sticks, not sure exactly what it is. Maitama, you do not have bracha in your business. Why? Because they are thick, they are big, they are exposed. Sharta ba'ena. There is lashon, there is ayin hara. Khan, do you see what it says over there for these poles that we're selling?
Where on the page?
Noon.
Yeah.
Amud Bet, third big line.
From the top?
From the bottom, the big lines. The lines too big.
Yesterday?
Huh?
You went all the way here yesterday?
No idea. Flew yesterday. Anyways, what it's saying over here, Rashi, is that Rashi is saying like this: you're selling big stuff. We pass by, we see you with big containers, big loads, big shipments, big pieces of wood. Some say it's making from nothing. You didn't do nothing. You're just cutting wood that grows. You didn't do anything. So since people are seeing your business, since you're out in the open, since people are watching you, you do not want people to see your success. That's not giving you bracha. Tanu Rabbanan. Tagre sitma umegadre be'ema daka. If you are selling sitma, says Rashi, what is sitma? Yoshin mochin b'shuk. You're selling out in the open. You have a business in Times Square. You're right there. You're in the store. Everybody's passing by. Umegadre be'ema daka, and you have you're selling sheep. Ukot be'ema daka. Megadel. If you're megadel be'ema daka, you're growing them and selling them. V'kotzitze ilanot tovot. You're cutting down good trees. V'notnin enem bechelek yafeh. And you're always looking when we're splitting, when the meal comes, or when you're splitting up, or it's time to make a charukah, or between partners, you're always looking for the good end. You always try to get the good parts. You're always trying to, this guy's always getting the good portion. People are astonished by it. People are seeing what you're doing. So if you're selling in the middle, your business is booming, it's in the middle of the town. If you are cutting trees, why are you cutting good trees that people could use? You're cutting trees that people should be using. If people are talking of migadere be'ema daka, everybody's screaming about it, says Rashi, because they're eating the food everywhere. They're eating in my garden, they're eating in my place over here. When people are complaining about your business, when people are talking about you and complaining about you, you're not in a good position to make money. Keep things, your money will not have bracha in it. Keep things on the undercover. Tanu Rabbanan, daned piturot en vansin bracha. Four types of coins, some currency, do not make money. You will not make money with them. Do you want to go on my desk? There is one. The small blue one like that. The Gemara says, Schar kodvin schar kodvin. So a sofer does not have bracha in his money. You'll see why in a second. Schar mitur gamin. You have a guy that used to be mitur gaman. The Rav used to be doresh on Shabbat, but actually sometimes there was an old Rav, he had a low voice, and he'd have a good speaker that would translate. The Rav knew everything about peh, and you had a speaker that was able to take it in my desk in the shul. David Man, my desk in the shul. You would have a speaker that was able to take it and turn it into a nice drasha. He's doing it in public and open. Usrar yetomim. And by the way, what's the reason of the guy who's there? It looks like he's making money on Shabbos. If your job is only on Shabbat, it looks like you're getting schar Shabbat. People don't appreciate somebody's getting paid only for Shabbat. Now, even about Koreh, we pay him for Monday, Thursday, and we pay him also Shabbat, we include it. But if your job is only Shabbat, the only time you're speaking is Shabbat Kodesh, and you're getting paid for that, it doesn't look like, there's no bracha on that. Schar yetomim. So now you're investing money for orphans. You're in charge of a fund for orphans, and you're wheeling and dealing, and you're making investment, you're trying to grow it. You don't have bracha on that. You're getting paid it. Because maybe you're going to make little mistakes. People are questionable. You're using money that nobody's watching. It's not the best thing. And also, umaot habaot minat hayam. You have shipments coming in. You have boats coming in. You're making money. Again, it's out in the open. You do not make money. Understand the guys that's translating the Dvar Torah on Shabbat. He's a miturgaman. It looks like he's getting paid for working on Shabbos. Umaot yetomim nami. The yatom, he can never forgive you. So let's say you're working for me. I remember somebody told me he had a job, and he was very careful about this. So I told his boss, sometimes I take a few minutes off here and there, and I'm mochel you, because it's not pashut. If you're an employee, every second that you're paid for, you can't start taking off. It could be geza. But since the boss could say, I'm mochel you, it's okay. It's very good, important to do that. So what about a yatom? You're dealing with, the yatom is your boss. You're using the money of the yatom. He cannot be mochel. It's not his money to forgive. So he cannot be mochel. U'ma'ot about mimnat hayam. Mishum delav kol yom mitcharish nisa. So here too, money is coming from the boats. So it says you made a good money. That seems to be over there. There was a lot of crashes, a lot of difficulties when it comes from something coming overseas. It was a miracle. So you got a big shipment, and people are watching you. And it's not every day you can have a miracle. There's no bracha over there. It seems to be. So Rashi says they're always besakana. It's always sakana. There's no bracha. You got it? Huh?
He's sending his boat to Makam Sakana.
Sending the Makam Sakana is coming back to Sakana. You're going and sending over there to get money. Okay, you made it once, twice, but it's a dangerous situation. What's the reason, Rabbi Natan, why the sofer doesn't have money? Amar Bishur ben Levi, Kaf dared taniyot yeshvu anshe knesset hagdolah, kotve tefillin sfarim utefillin umezuzot. The Anshe Knesset Hagdolah fasted 24 fasts that the Sofrim should not be rich. Did you ever see a rich Sofer? They could have bracha, but rich we haven't seen. We saw rich people selling sukkahs. We saw selling etrogim. They're making money. We saw selling a lot of things in Judea, talis. People are making. But when it comes to Sofrim, why? Shidmanim mitashrin en kodvim. I'm selling my. By the way, you know how hard it is to write a pair of tefillin? You know how what a skill it is to get it out beautiful? It's really hard. And so the guy's selling it, and they're bargaining from him. I called the sofer, somebody wanted to order a Sefer Torah. I called him, how much he selling? He's very expensive. And he told me, I know you're not going to want it, but I can't do less than 80,000. I can't do less than 80,000. But it takes him, so somebody, what, 80,000 per Sefer Torah? You crazy? 80,000? But how long do you think it takes him? It takes him 1 year. So what the guy's making 80,000, and he pays 10,000 for the klaf. What do you want from him? He has 8 kids. What in the world do you want from him? We want 40,000, 50,000. Because it's true, it's money. But really, the value of you're going to pay 500 for an etrog. How much are you going to pay for your tefillin? It doesn't make sense. Really, it's a shigayon. You should pay $10,000 for tefillin. You're going to wear it for your whole life. You should invest the best of the best. But there's a shigayon in the mind that we're not willing to pay so much. And people are, they're not going to have bracha, so that the sofer, if made 10,000, I'm not working anymore. I wrote 1, that's it, I'm good for the month. But there's a lot of people, a lot of bar mitzvah boys, we need tefillin, we need mezuzot. So we need them to write, so they actually said, we're going to see that they have a patent, if they're doing the Shem Shamayim, that bracha. The Gemara is going to say, huh?
What did the print that it should not?
Because we need merchandise. And if you're making a lot of money, you're not going to write. Even though one sofer told me, he said, you ever saw a guy's making money, he's going to stop writing? But maybe the guy wants to do different things. I made my money. I wrote 2 pairs. I got 20,000 for the month. I'm good. I don't have to go crazy. But I really have to write 2 pairs a week. So we need. That's how it goes. So we make it that the.
You cannot find the sofer Ashir, but socher.
Socher Ashir. No, the truth is you can find sofer.
Selling is making money. The sofer doesn't.
So look what it says here.
The agents.
The middleman is.
Could be a sofer itself.
Good morning, Nathaniel. Boker Tov. Tanu Rabbanan. Look what the Braita says. Tanu Rabbanan. Kodve Sofrim. Rabbi Natan, look at the patent over here. You actually have Sofrim. I know Sofrim that actually they charge 3,000. It's 3,000 for my tefillin. US. You don't want it, don't buy it. And they have lineups ad in sof. You have other Sofrim, they can't find people to buy. So you can see over here, look what it says. Tanu Rabbanan. Kodve Sofrim tefillin umezuzot. By the way, you understand before we go forward. Before we go forward, you realize how important it is that ena bracha mitsuya ena bedvar samum min ayin. Keep your success quiet. Don't show. Even if you're doing good, keep it that people are not looking at you. And even the business that you want to take and you're making money, try to keep it low key. The more you keep it low key, and even if you live a low key lifestyle, you're gonna have bracha. Once people are looking at you and discussing you, you're not in a good situation. The Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan kodve sofrim tefillin mezuzot hen v'tagrehen v'tagre tagren. So the one writing it, the one selling it, the middleman, the second middleman, the store, all the way to the bottom. Kol haoskim b'melechet shamayim la tuyeh mochet cheret enan roin siman bracha. Here he's actually saying more. Anybody's working in melechet shamayim, you're selling tzitzis, you're selling etrogim, you're selling matzah, Anything you're selling, if it's dvar mitzvah, you do not see bracha nonam. Ve'im oskim nishma ro'in. But if they're working not for the money, they're working the Shem Shamayim, they will get the parnasah. What is the Shem Shamayim? What is that noise? Huh?
Close the windows.
The gardener.
Garden. The Shem Shamayim means that why are you making matzot? Because why are you writing tefillin? I want people. Why are you selling mezuzot? I want people to have good quality. I know the value of a mezuzah in the house. It protects the house. I know what it is to have a kosher etrog. I know what it is, and I see that I want people to have. If that's your intent, I want to get the best tefillin, the best mezuzot, the best tzitzit, the best. You will have bracha. So it depends why you're going.
Why is it so expensive?
It's not so expensive. That's the price. I mean, people have to. Why is you call a lawyer, you call an accountant, you call a plumber. Nobody's going to complain if the plumber is going to charge you
He's gonna
100.
make money too, the guy.
It has to live also.
But
Somebody.
you gave a great example with Edchon. How is it logical to buy a fruit for $500 that didn't cost anything for labor for the guy, and you're not buying tefillin for $2,000?
Minimum,
It makes,
minimum.
It makes
The
no
guy who
sense.
sells the Echol, it costs him
I'll tell you right now. There's no such thing as $100 mezuzah. There's almost no such
For a
thing.
week.
There's no such thing. Doesn't
For a week.
exist. And the Hasidim right away. The Hasidim, you call them the real. It's $250 a mezuzah US. That's what the price is.
How much?
They can $250 US. You cut corners, $150 US. But and then you have the ones that want the nice case and they don't even care about the mezuzah inside. So then they're going to give them something. Anyways, it's another sukkah. The Gemara says, "Bnei Baishan noheg delo avuaz." There was a family, and they were called Baishan. They would not travel mitzur litzidon b'male Shabbatah. It seems to be on Friday in Sidon there was the market, there was the shuk, and that's the day you want to go and buy the things and take care of business. But they wouldn't go. They wouldn't go to the shuk on Friday. And what was the reason they were doing it? They were machmir on themselves. They were machmir that we don't do business on Friday. There's no problem to do business on Friday. Comes Chatzot Yom, you want to be careful. But in the morning, they wouldn't go at all on the Friday. They came, Atu Banayu Kamed Rabbi Yochanan. So they came to Rabbi Yochanan, the children. Amru Abatin Efshar Lehu Anano Efshar. Listen, our fathers made a lot of money. Our parents were doing really good in business, so they didn't do business on Friday. But us, we're a little bit tight. Can we do business on Friday? Amarnu Kvar Kiblu Avotechem Anehem. Anechem, sorry, your family minhag is this. Don't change your family minhag. Shma b'nei musar avicha v'antitosh torat imecha. Do not let go of what the Torah is coming from your house. Shma musar avicha antitosh torat imecha. So he's saying to him over here, if your family took a chumrah that is really not really the halacha, please be very careful to maintain your family. Respect your family traditions. That's what the Gemara says. B'nei chozah. So there was a certain city, and they were taking challah from rice. They would make rice bread or rice cakes or whatever it is, and they would take the challah, meaning to give to the Kohen from rice. You do not need to give for rice. Exactly, you only need to give from the 5 minim, which is grains. And they were giving challah, they were taking truma from rice. So which city was this? It was in Chozai. So they said to Rabbi Yosef, that's what, they came to the Rabbi Yosef, and look, these people are taking truma from rice. I want somebody to go over there, and I want him to take the challah from the rice and eat it. A regular guy, not a Kohen. I want you to show them that it's not the halacha. I want you to show them that this is just a chumrah what they're doing. I want them to make sure that they know. Usually a regular challah, if a guy who eats it, it's asur. A regular person is not like only a Kohen is allowed to. So I want you to go there and bedafka, take the challah, eat it yourself. The Gemara says, "Iti be'abaye dvarim hamutrim v'achrim nagum emisur, iyata rashai latiran." Well, Abaye said, 1 second. We have a Braita, and the Braita says that things that are really mutar, it's mutar. But some people took upon themselves to be strict. You can't go in front of them and be matir. If people took a stringency, it's not your job to go ahead and start to being, no, it's mutar and it's a chumrah and we're going to do what I want. It's not a good thing to do. Amarnu velav mitmar. So you see what happened? So these people are eating, giving challah from rice. Rabbi Yosef said, show them it's a mistake. Abaye said, why? We know that the situation where people took a chumrah, don't break them. Let them continue. Don't be mekel in front of them. So the Gemara says, Abaye answers back, or Rabbi Yosef answers back, velav mitmar ala. Really, the only time you can do that is with a kuti. A kuti is a guy that doesn't know well halacha. And he's holding on to, some people, they don't know the halacha. and they're doing certain things which might be a chumrah. It's not even needed. It's not true. It's not at all the halacha. Where did I see that recently? Somebody's doing something very machmir, and it was bothering the family, and it really wasn't the halacha, and it must do. And I told him, no, it's not true. It's actually completely mutar. But when it comes to a guy that's kutaim, a place of kutaim, so if you take away what they think is the Torah, they're going to say, okay, if everything else is bogus. If they're holding on to this and they think this is a strict halacha, even though it's just a chumrah, and you come and say this is a joke, forget about it. So what are they going to do? They're going to let go of everything else. Okay, if this is not true, so we thought this was so serious, so this is so serious as well. They're going to start doing that. So Rabbi Yosef told them, stop, eat the rice dough, and Abaye said no. But then Rabbi Yosef said it's talking about only kutaim. So the Gemara says, Maitama, kutaim maitama, mishum de misach. You want to follow me, David? The misache milta. Because if you're going to let them do this, they're going to come to do more. Hanachin shena misache milta. Actually, the people of Chozai, it's the same thing. Sache milta is, they're not well learned, and they're going to come to do even more avirot. So the Gemara says, Alamar Bashi chazinan. So really it's like this. If the city of Chozai, most people are just eating rice, that's all they're eating. So really you're right. If the people here, they're eating rice, and they're taking challah from the rice, let them eat it, don't bother them. There's not going to be any problems coming out of that. What's the big deal? They're taking challah, they're giving it to Kohen, it's no problem. But if, Dinma, Iruban Orez Achle, no. Dinma mishtakra torat chala minau. Because you know what's going to happen? If you stop them from doing it, then they think there's no chala, and then their kids are going to move to a place where they eat bread and flour and wheat, and they're going to stop doing chala. In Morocco, everybody carried. You know why they carried? Because there was an eruv. They lived in a walled place. They come to America. Why? They're carrying. What? There's no problem with carrying. We carried. You don't know the halachot. You don't know that there was an eruv over there. You come over here. So sometimes, if you stop the guy from taking his orez, he's going to come to another place. He's not going to give it even on wheat. But what I meant was, if in the city where they're living, Bnei Chozai, people really eat sandwiches and bread, and they're taking from the rice, I need you to show them it's a mistake. You know what's the problem? Because now you're going to get into big problems. Because don't forget, if I have here one batch of dough, wheat, and one batch of dough, wheat, do I have to take challah from this one and from this one? No, I can take a big piece from this one and put it on this one, right? So now let's say I have rice and I have wheat. This is a rice bread, this is a wheat bread. The challah from here, which is nothing, will not work for the challah over here. So I'm going to take, I'm going to take rice challah, and rice challah, I'm going to give it to the Kohen, and include also of the wheat. So that means this wheat was never fixed, and it's tevel. So when you're going to eat your wheat, it's like you never give truma, and it's a big problem. And if you take from the wheat, for example, I'm going to take challah from the wheat, and I'm going to give it for the rice. So what did you just do? It's not challah. It's not challah, it's nothing, because it's going on this. So now when you're going to eat the rest, you're also eating tevel. So it could be a lot of problems if you're eating in general wheat, and some people are eating rice and taking from rice. If they only eat rice, in China there's no bread, right? Is there any bread in China? Which place has no?
No, there is.
Now there is. Back then there was places where the bread was rice. That's what the staple. They didn't steal it. So if it's only rice in that place, let them do it. But if there's wheat,
Actually, gluten-free, let's say today, we have people who are gluten intolerant.
the whole problem is if they're only eating rice, let them. But if they're eating rice and wheat, then you're getting into problems. Stop them. So you see that a minag, a chumrah, could actually cause bigger problems. So you got to know, you got to be, Chava was machmir. We got into big trouble because she was machmir. She said, Hashem said, don't touch the, Adam Rishon was machmir. He told her, Hashem probably don't touch the tree, but it was a chumrah. Adam Rishon wanted to tell Chava, listen, we can't eat it. If I tell her just don't eat it, maybe she's going to touch it. Don't touch it. But then she told the snake, don't touch it. Then he pushed her. You saw, nothing happened by touching it.
It's what the Chachamim were doing.
That's why it's important to know the difference. If this is a Doraita, this is the Rabbanan. Once you know that if you know the halakha, you can be much more mekel if you don't know the halakha. Somebody who knows the halakha, it's actually very light. Mutar. You know what? This really, we got to put an X over here. But if you don't know, you got to be machmir on everything. Rabbi Vodadja was super mekel. He wasn't mekel at all. It's just when you're unsure, is this lady married or she's not married? We don't find any evidence that her husband's dead. So she can't marry for the rest of her life. Rav Ovadia pushed the halacha to the limit of the halacha. She's muteret. He's meker, he's not meker. I know my stuff cold, and I know that this is mutar. The Gemara continues. Gufa.
I don't remember where it has been written, but it says that kutim, any place that kutim, כל מקום שכותים החזיקו בהלכה זה מחזיק יותר מישראל.
Yes.
I don't remember exactly where it's at.
There is such a thing.
There is such a thing.
Yeah. That was back in the day, but afterwards we saw that kutim were today kutim were. It was what is a kuti? Kuti is in the time of Ashur, in the time of Melech Ashur. So he conquered the whole world. So what he did is he mixed up everybody. You know what's one way of getting power, taking power of a country is moving the citizens. You're a new invader, so he comes in and he's taking over. It's our place, it's not your place. Yeah, you know what? You're going to go live over here and you're going to go live over here. If we take people and go put them in China, take the Chinese people and go live over here, nobody feels like it's their land. Well, the Arabs, they're complaining. They think they were there for a long time. It's their land. It's not your land. It's Hashem gave us the land. So the Kutim were actually goyim that Hashem brought, that Sanherib brought, and he put them in Eretz Yisrael. The problem is Eretz Yisrael is so holy back then that if you do Avodah Zarah, the land doesn't accept you. So lions start to kill them. They were doing Avodah Zarah, lions, so they converted. So the question, when they converted, was it a real conversion or not? Was it converted out of fear and it was not accepted? Because you can have a conversion that's not kosher. A conversion, for it to be kosher, it has to be without the halachot. Or you can have a conversion, so we weren't sure. So there was a big discussion in Gemara for a long time, and they were on the border of something. They would do some things good, some things wouldn't. Whatever they do, they would do it very strong. That's what Eitan is saying.
Did they accept Torah Shebal Peh?
So at the end, they were sketching it. And at the end, they saw they had a temple of Avodah Zarah, and they were following a little bit of things, whatever. You know that many religions, they incorporate Avodah Zarah with the new religion together. Christianity was Avodah Zarah before, and they
Still is.
They mixed up a whole bunch of things. Anyway, so that was the Kutim. So the Kutim at the end they find that they were just Avodah Zarah and they're not kosher. Gufa. Dvarim hamutarim v'achim menagum benisur iyata rashayim latiran bifnim. So are there certain things which are forbidden, and other people are lenient on them? You cannot go ahead and be lenient in front of them. The Gemara says. Amar Rav Chizda, bikuta'ei askinan. And we were talking about people who are really just weak community members. Weak community members, if you start mixing up their minhag, their thing, you're going to mix them up. Let them continue. So long as it's not against the halakha, let him go in his chumrot, because then you're going to mix up all of his Torah. And we know those things. An older person, he thinks this his whole life he was doing, they tell him it's not kosher. I went to a shul recently, and I've been there a few times, and I see people are wearing tefillin here. They're wearing tefillin here. So I said the halacha. I said again. I said a few times. I said the halacha. I'm saying there. I'm telling you people. If you wait and they're wearing the tefillin here, they're not doing anything. Huh?
Goes on each time.
But they're not. But no, they come to me after. So so one old man, he came to me. I said, "Stop! Your tefillin are not kosher. It's like you're keeping Shabbat on Wednesday. Give me your tefillin." I said, "Okay, fine." But he didn't want to hear it until I took his tefillin and I fixed his tefillin. Put it. He's 80 years old. Don't change my tefillin. That's how we had. C'est comme ça qu'on avait. Poor guy, the whole life, he's wearing tefillin over here. What are you going to do with that? Misken. So you see that changing a guy. Now, if it's not asur and he's just machmir, let him. But if it's asur, you have no choice. The Gemara says, but seemingly regular people, there's not a problem. And that's what the Gemara is asking. Bikuna amalo. What? If it's just if people that know halacha, you can't switch. Vatanya. Rotzchin shnachin kechad. Important halacha. Then rotzchin shtechin bekabul. Two brothers, are they allowed to go to the mikveh together? Are they allowed to go to the shower together? So two brothers are allowed, but in the city of Kabul, they said forbidden. We don't let two brothers go in the shower together, in the bathhouse together. Umasib Yehuda behilel vanav shel Rabban Gamliel. So once Rabban Gamliel had two brothers, Hillel and Yehuda, shirachatzu shneim kechad bekabul. They went to the bathhouse. And they went into the bathhouse, they went into the mikveh together. The whole city was a tumult. They were getting upset. How could it be? We never saw this. They're going together in the mikveh. Hillel had heard that they were talking about him, so he went out and he left the bathhouse and he went to the waiting room. There is actually no halacha to be in the bathhouse with your brother. There's no halacha. They were machmir on that. So he didn't want to tell them, you guys are too machmir. מותרים אתם. יוצאים ביקור דה קיסון בשבת. Then יוצאים ביקור דה קיסון בשבת בבירי. So there was a city called Biri. In that, it's called an overshoe. They used to have big overshoes, plastic overshoes, sort of something like that was made for the rain. So you're allowed to wear that on Shabbat, even though it's not called carrying. But it's because it's like a beged. Even though ours are very tight, there's no question. But they used to have a little bit loose. So there's always a fear it's a little bit loose, you're going to take it off, you're going to carry it. And if you're going to carry it on Shabbat, it's a problem. So many things in Shabbat, we tell you that really you're allowed to carry them, but we'd rather you don't carry them. So really it's allowed. And in this city, they would not let the people wear this overshoe. And what happened? So they were wearing them in the city Bibiri. So we never saw this. How can you be walking this? So they took them off. They gave it to their slave to be able to carry. They didn't want to tell them, guys, you guys are fools. It's the alachaz mutar. Don't bother me. If the hamon, if people think that it's asur and that's the minhag, go with the minhag. So now you go to the shuk, and the goy is there. He has a bench and he's selling things. You're going to sell on the bench where the goy is selling things. Is there a problem to wait at a bus stop on Shabbat? What's the problem? I'm sitting at the bus stop. But in certain cities you can't sit at the bus stop. You can't sit where the goyim are selling because people are going to think you're selling as well. Really, it's mutar, but in that city of Akko. And what happened? Everybody was talking about him. We never saw this. He's sat on the floor. So, so they didn't want to tell them that it's mutar. Why not? So the Gemara answers, so it's because these were places where there was not a Torah. It wasn't really in the main centers of Torah. It was in Medinat Hayam. It was far out. And so therefore, in the place of people that are not well learned, don't fool around with their minhagim. If it's Lakewood and we know it's a Chumrah and a guy's coming from Eretz Yisrael or a guy's coming from Muncie, that's not a minhag. It's okay because everybody knows it's not a minhag. I'll give you an example. You go to Sfaradim. Do we stand up for Kaddish? We don't stand up. No. We don't stand up. Ashkenazim doesn't stand. So you go to a place in Lakewood. I was in Lakewood recently. You go to a place and it's Bnei Torah and there's Rabbanim and there's a few Sfaradim there. They know the Sfaradim don't stand. They don't have to stand. If you go to a place where they don't know the Torah and you're sitting down, for me it's mutar to sit down. But we stand up. You're not. You're fooling around. You stand up with them.
Yeah, I think you know they do.
Yes, Rav Kenning would come to Slichot over here. When he was here, he would come to Slichot. Follow the minhag of the makom. He would sit for Slichot. When you would shake his hand, he would kiss his hand like this. Ashkenaz don't kiss the hand. He would kiss the finger. The Gemara says, one more small thing. The Gemara says, we understand why you can't sit on a goyish bench because it looks like business. We understand the overshoe, you can't wear them because maybe you're going to take them off, you're going to walk for Amoud. What's the reason two brothers can't go in the mikveh together? Can't go in the shower together? Ma'itama no. Kedetanya im akol adam rochetz chutz me'aviv v'chamiv. You're allowed to be in the shower, in the mikveh, in the bathhouse, except with your father, except your father-in-law, ubal imo, if your mother be married, so the husband of your mother, ubal achoto, important, your brother-in-law, the husband of your sister. You're not allowed to. All of these things will cause a person to start thinking. He's going to think about, you see your father, where did you come from? You came from him. You're going to start thinking about that. The person's going to think about his mother. Chas v'shalom, you don't want to go there. Your father-in-law, your wife came from there. Your wife's sister. These things are not allowed. Rabbi Yehuda matir ba'aviv mibnei kavod aviv. Now, if your father needs your help, you're allowed to be with him. V'hu adin lebalimo. If the father-in-law needs your help in the shower. Back then there was no shower in the house. You have an old person call me. They fell. They need somebody to help them to wash. So if it's to help the adult, the father, v'atu inu v'gazu b'shnei achim mishum bal achoto. So since the brother-in-law is asur, so therefore in Kabul they said even the brother's asur because we don't want you to be. If we will let you with your brother, you're going to come to your brother-in-law. Talmud. So that's why it was asur. Tana talmid lo yichotz im rabo. Likewise, a student should be with his rebbe in the shower. Ve'im rabot tzarich lo mutar. So if the Rebbe needs the student, it's allowed to. So really, that's why there's places where they have special mikvahs for Rabbanim. In Ushimont, they have special rooms where the Rabbanim go in the mikveh. So they shouldn't be with the tzibur. Nemaaseh, it's not a sur today, because most people cover themselves in the mikveh. So if a person is involved in covering themselves, also it used to be that they were all exposed, like the fact that there's in the showers different stalls, and a person's covering himself in the shower, and in the mikveh, it's covered in the water, it's more mutar. There was a little bit more in the al open. There was water that everybody was taking water and rubbing himself and cleaning himself. It was a little bit more exposed. But so long as a person is covering himself, and in general, it's important to know that shmirat einayim, the same for men, the same for women, the same for women, the same for men. You're not supposed to look at the erva of a man. Don't look at the erva of a man. And a person should do everything he can to make sure that other people won't be looking in the mikveh. Not like sometimes I see a guy's schmoozing like this. His leg, his leg is on the thing. The guy's telling him that you ate well on the chagim, huh? You ate well. This is not appropriate. Mikveh is in and out. Mikveh is supposed to be modest, and it's called bigam enayim. It's bigam enayim to look at a man. It's bigam enayim. Now, if you're not trying to look and something passes by, that's one thing. But do everything you can to keep your eyes pure, and you should do everything to make sure that you are covered. And I think that the Baba Sadi, when he go in the mikveh, he would step one foot in the water, he would take up his jalabah. Another foot he would take up the jalabah. Another foot he would take up the jalabah. When he's coming out, his gabai would put him the jalabah, that he would not be exposed at all. The more you are private, and Rabbeinu even brings it, the more you are tzanu in the bathroom, Rabbeinu says that your dreams are miyushabim. If I'm not mistaken, Sefer Amidot, Chazak Baruch, Dikutei Moran starting right now.